Way enough? Mark, get on your mark. Bang! Come on, ladies! Half, half, 3/4, full, power 10 and 2. 1, 2. That's how you start a race in the rowing world. I would like to present to you and hopefully persuade you to attempt to incorporate rowing into your lifestyle, or even as a hobby, or maybe an exercise. I'm going to go over a short, brief history of rowing, where it came from, its origins, and then I'm going to tell you the 4 steps that are included in one stroke. And then I'm going to let you know all the health benefits and possible mental benefits of rowing. So, my sisters and I have collectively, all 3 of us have about 11 years experience of rowing. That's not even a tiny fraction of how long rowing's actually been around. All great civilizations are usually established within a body of water. So automatically there's going to be boats. Rowing has been there ever since then. But it wasn't until 1274 where the very first recorded regatta was established, and that was in Venice, Italy. So the Venetians had their thing going on. And then fast forward roughly about 600 years, England decided to actually make an article about it and establish rowing as an official sport. So between those 600 years, the boats have obviously gotten longer, they've gotten smaller to fit more people and get a greater efficiency throughout the water. And then roughly 40 years later, the Olympics officially incorporated rowing into the system. So men were able to row only. There were 4s and there were 8s. 4s is a boat for really just 4 people and possibly the coxswain. That's the person that yells at you, by the way. And then an 8, obviously, is 8 people, and then there's also the coxswain. So men were able to row in 1886, and it wasn't until 1976 that women were able to join. And that I got those specific dates from rowrowing.com. So now that you know just a tiny brief history of rowing, because it's pretty extensive if you really want to get nitty-gritty, I'm going to let you know how to row. There are 4 basic steps. First, there is the catch, when your body's at the utmost right position. Then there's the drive, and then there's the finish, and then there's recovery. The catch, like I said earlier, it's when you're at the utmost right position. I would show you, but I don't know if I'm going to look at it. It's going to count as a visual aid. But it's when your body is at its utmost right position, your back is fully straight, you have your arms out, and your legs are up against your chest. So this is when your oar is this much into the water. And then when you have the drive, the oar goes this way, and your body is going back. This is where you get all the power, and that's mostly throughout the legs. It's not throughout the arms like a lot of people think. There are sliding seats within official rowing boats. So that's the drive. And then when you get to the finish, it's when you finish throughout your drive. And that triggers, all of this triggers the abdominals, the backs, the traps, the thighs, the quads, everything, the calves, the ankles, your gluteus maximus, and your face, because it hurts. And then you go back up to the recovery when you get back up to the catch. And this definitely ignites your ankles, because you have to move your body back up forward, and it also, it's the muscle under your quads. I can't remember the name of it right now. But so those are the 4 main steps within a stroke. Athletes have taken many of these strokes to get to where they are today and to make rowing what it is today. So I would like to let you know that from concept2.com, that's an official rowing website, Concept 2 is a rowing machine, and they have all this information about rowing. You can more than welcome to go online and see the 4 basic steps again. They actually did some research and created an easy table to figure out, to compare rowing against the muscle groups and other activities, and what uses the highest level of those muscle groups. Rowing exceeds 3 stars in every single one of the muscle groups. The only other 3 that come close to rowing is the elliptical machine, which is at a gym. Why would you want to be stuck in a gym when you can be out in the water, rowing on a beautiful river? You can possibly run into a dolphin if you're rowing in the ocean. My sisters run into seals all the time. So you have the elliptical machine, they're swimming. Not too many people do ocean swimming because they're scared to get eaten by a shark or attacked by a dolphin. You never know. And And then there's also the ski machine, which is kind of lame, so don't even bother. So those are the main 3 that come kind of close to rowing. So I hope I persuaded you just to try rowing. It's a lot of fun. You can be out in the water, get some fresh air. It's good for your lungs. And a lot of people actually that run, a lot of the runners, they find that rowing is a good stress reliever as well to help them assist with running and their endurance. If you ever happen to have an ankle problem or a knee problem, rowing is a lot more easier on those body parts. Also, as your back becomes very strong, your core is stabilized every second of the time that you're in the boat because the boat has to stay on keel, which is balance. So I hope you guys try rowing. It's a fantastic sport. It's really exciting. It's not as exciting as football to watch, but once you're in the boat and you're in that race and you want to catch that 2 seat to get to the finish line, you're going to feel awesome. Thank you.
Will, what did you think?
The beginning kind of caught me off guard. You were yelling, but then I thought maybe you forgot what you were saying, and then I didn't realize until after you did all that yelling or whatever when you were doing the countdown that you were going to talk about rowing. But other than that, I loved the introduction about the history and all that stuff. It was really nice learning about like where it came from, the Venice and everything. Also the whole example of how bodies of water civilization started around that, so rowing's been around for it was good. When you were explaining the 4 steps, I understood it, but maybe for somebody who doesn't like know what rowing is or what a boat looks like, it's kind of hard to do that. I know we're not allowed to do visuals, but again, you did it. I understood what it was, but for future notice, if you can't use a visual, it was kind of difficult maybe to understand what the 4 steps were. And then the health benefits, they were pretty good, but when you got to your conclusion, you were telling us, this is it, this is what I went over, you kind of went back to your 3rd point with the health benefits, and then you ended it. But overall, it was really good. Your eye contact was awesome. You had really good indicators. You didn't fidget so much around. It was comedic. I enjoyed it very much.
All right. Presentation issues are fine. I don't notice anything that's problematic there. The opening, I think that you got a little bit caught at one point, but it did pan out. It was fine. The problem with the speech is mostly that it seems like it's informative rather than persuasive. There's a little bit of persuasive appeal when you're making the comparison between rowing and some of the stuff that people might do in a gym or some of the benefits that runners have, but that is a very small proportion of the speech. A lot of the speech is really outlining history and describing what the process of rowing is. Some of the positive visualizations you have at the end, like with your sister encountering the wildlife, that sort of thing, that helps a little bit, maybe add some idea to the notion of it being persuasive. I'm not exactly sure, for instance, how any of us would get involved in rowing as a sport that we would use for our health benefits. You need to have a stronger explanation of that. All right, again, I'm trying to